It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat, and today I'm going to talk to actors, and I'm going to remind you that observation is your best friend. It's kind of a cliche, but most actors will tell you that life experience is your best friend, and I would agree with that. The older you get, the more understanding you have of the way the world works. The second thing that I think is absolutely crucial is going to be you want to have a good understanding of who you are and a good acceptance of who you are and of loving yourself. But the third thing, and the thing that's going to really change how you do things, is using your power of observation. I remember when I started directing, when I was 19 years old, someone took a chance on me. And his name is Mark, and he's amazing. And Mark took a chance on me. And we were talking about casting one day. And he said, it's an interesting thing, Matt. But everyone comes to me and says, I'm going to have a great actor for you. And what they mean is that they're outspoken, they're a ham, they're an attention getter. And he says, but that's not my observation. My observation is that often the best actors are the quiet ones, the ones who don't talk during the day. They sit back and they observe everything. They notice everything. And they notice all the little details. They notice the little smirks. They notice finger twitches that happen at certain times. They notice when someone looks down before they're saying something. They notice countenance. They are observers of the natural world. And one of the most transformative exercises you can do as a performer is to go out and observe someone you've never met. In fact, I used to do this quite often when I would teach pretty much any acting class. I still would as well. And what you do is you go out, you observe a stranger in a situation that has some conflict. All right. It could be, we're not talking major conflict. There's conflict everywhere. It could be a parent arguing with a kid over an ice cream cone. It could be two people wondering about what we're going to have for dinner. It could be anything, right? A situation with conflict where one person wants one thing and another person wants another. And you observe one of the two people and you start to take very studious notes on how do they talk? What is the rate that they speak in? Do they speak really fast? Are they kind of hard to understand, right? How do they talk? What is their intonation? Are they in the higher part of the register? Are they in the lower part, right? What are their micro expressions? What are their macro expressions? How is their posture, right? What gestures do they make? Are they always... I worked for a guy, his gesture was always like this, right, at one point. And I mean, it was signature for that person. Everyone who ever impersonated that person would always do this, right? And you observe these little idiosyncrasies. Do they have a shoulder that kind of slumps, right? And you observe them, and you take a 30 minutes, take an hour, do this. It will change things for you. It will be remarkable. And then what you do is you take all that information, you look at it, and then you recreate 5 minutes of that. And you can do this through improvisation. Don't worry about writing a script. Don't do anything like that. Have someone watch you, though. And what you're going to find through that observation is that you are able to completely change your acting style. You're going to be able to play a new type of character that you've never done, because when you activate the body parts that this person activated, you'll start to feel more like that person. You'll probably still be a little in your head. Don't get me wrong. You'll probably still be like, this is kind of weird, whatever. But you'll activate different things. And as you start doing it and you imagine the situation and the conversation, what's going to happen is you're going to start to become a mixed version of yourself and that other person in that situation. And you're going to become crazy believable. And this is how the power of observation works for you actors. It works in a very specific way because it teaches you to be detailed. It teaches you to look at the minutia of existence, because this is what we are doing when we act. We are holding a mirror up to nature. Unless we see nature, we are not holding up a mirror to anything. We are playing basics, right? Until you watch someone, until you see someone cover up their emotions with a smile, until you see someone cover up their emotions with anger, until you see someone do something, you'll probably just play mood, or this emotion sounds like here. But when you start to see something in action, you'll go, huh, that's interesting. Now, the next part of this is going to be for your partner, the person who is watching that. And they are going to quiz you in character, right? So we used to say this when we were doing our audition stuff. We'd say, okay, just hold right there, stay in character. And I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to stay in character through this as this person, and I'm going to ask you questions. And the questions that you're going to ask, that your friend is going to ask you, are going to be motivation questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? What would you say to this person if you could that you're not saying? Maybe the character you're watching is frustrated about something, but what they really want to say is, I love you, right? And they're frustrated with themselves because they can't just bring themselves to do it, right? It's that observation. It's that looking at the minutia of life to find the truth that the body conveys without anyone else noticing. Some people do this because that's just who they are. One of the funny things that I've never been gifted in this particular way, but my partner is exceptionally gifted in it. And he is so detail-oriented about impersonations. I don't even think he knows that he's doing it, but he's very quiet. And then suddenly he'll start telling a story about someone, and he recreates them on the spot, like mimicry, like an impersonation. And it's very accurate, and it sounds just like the person. I've seen a lot of people do this. I had a friend in high school that was able to recreate, and of course he made me loud because I'm loud, but it was really funny stuff. And we want, and then another friend who's a dear friend of ours, he had stayed the night at our house when I was younger. He is my brother's best friend. And he impersonated our entire family's morning schedule. He played all of us. And I didn't have much of a sense of humor, so I was offended because he was making fun of me, you know. But it was hilarious, and my whole family remembers it to this day. So observation, what can you watch? Artists, If you're a painter, what can you see in nature that you can tell the truth with your painting that comes from human nature? Observation, singer, right? How does that singer use observation for that? All right. So I just want to leave you with that tool. It's a great practical tool, something that you both, if you have a partner or if you're in an acting class, you can do both parts of that exercise. You can be the one who observes and you can be the questioner and see what happens. See how your talent grows. You are so fantastic. I love you. Keep making art and have a beautiful day.